Are you ready to find out what happens to Joseph today? Let's find out. You got to be ready. It's time. The traders who bought Joseph from his brothers took him to Egypt. Here, Joseph saw people speaking a strange language. He saw large cities, beautiful temples for the worship of all kinds of idols, mighty pyramids, and the great Nile River. How strange this all was to a boy who had always lived in tents. The traders took Joseph to the chief city and sold him to an officer in the king's army, who was in charge of the king's bodyguard and keeper of the king's prison. Joseph had been terrified when his brothers sold him as a slave, but nothing could be done about it now. He determined to do his best in whatever he was told to do, so that God would be pleased with him. God did not forget about Joseph, nor the dreams he had given him. God was preparing Joseph for the time when these dreams would come true. Joseph's master, named Potipher, was very rich and he owned many servants. Joseph learned quickly to speak the strange language, to be cheerful and obedient, and to be trustworthy. Potiphar noticed that Joseph was honest and had a good understanding of business. He gave Joseph more important responsibilities until finally he put Joseph in charge of everything that he owned. God blessed Potiphar's household because of Joseph and made him even richer.
Good morning, Master. Here are the accounts from yesterday.
I'm sure they're fine, Joseph. I trust you completely. I don't know what I'd do without you, honestly. I pray to God that I never have to know.
What is the one true God that I serve? He gives me all the abilities to do this.
Yes, this one God of yours, I'll have to ask about him someday. But anyway, I'm up to the palace. The Pharaoh has called me, so I will be back later. Farewell, wife.
Joseph, you're ignoring me again.
Excuse me, mistress. I have to do something.
Oh, come on, Joseph. Would it do any harm to just sit and talk a while? I mean, Potiphar's gone all the time, and all anyone does around here is work. I wouldn't bug you so much if you just sit and talk a while.
Please, I really must be gone.
Oh, come on, Joseph. We'll have lots to talk about. We might even become very good friends.
No, don't you understand? Potiphar's put me in charge of everything in his house except you. I'm his slave, but he treats me as his equal. I would never do anything to sin against God or go against Potipher.
Oh, come on, Joseph. No one's around. Who will see us?
No, I must go.
I can't believe the nerve of that slave. How dare he say no to me? I'm his mistress. He has to obey me. Just wait till Potiphar gets home. May!
Yes, mistress. Potiphar has come. Do you wish to dine with him?
No, send him to me at once.
What's wrong? Are you sick?
Oh, it's that slave of yours, and you thought I was safe?
Slave? What slave?
You're a Hebrew slave. Oh, it's too awful.
What? Joseph? He wouldn't do anything.
Yes, he would. He attacked me right here in my own bedroom.
Joseph wouldn't do anything like that.
Yes, he would. See? I have proof. I was doing whatever I was doing over here, and he came in here to attack me instead of doing his work. I screamed as loud as I could, and he ran off without his coat. What horrible man did you bring into our home?
Guard! Guard! Find Joseph. Put him in jail with the king's prisoners.
Joseph, your head servant?
Yes. He must be punished, but I won't kill him like a common slave. He will remain in prison.
Joseph stayed in the royal prison for a long, long time. How unfair his life was. To be a slave was bad enough, but to be put in prison for doing the right thing was even worse. But Joseph did not pout and feel sorry for himself. He knew God was with him, and he trusted God to work everything out for the best. The prison keeper watched Joseph day after day and finally decided Joseph was the very person he needed to help care for the other prisoners. Soon he gave Joseph the management of the whole prison. He trusted Joseph completely and never even checked on him. One day, Pharaoh became very angry with two of his officers, the chief butler, his cupbearer, and the chief baker. He put them in prison where Joseph was. Joseph's former master, Potipher, who was captain of the guard, made Joseph their personal attendant. Both of them stayed in jail for a long time.
Whoa! I had the strangest dream last night.
Really? I did too. It just felt so real. I wish somebody could tell us what it meant.
Yeah.
Good morning, sirs. What such sad faces?
Well, we both had like these really intense dreams last night, and we really want to know what they mean. Could you tell us?
Of course. Wait, well, don't interpretations come from God? Tell me your dreams.
Oh, you see, I was the king's cupbearer, preparing his drinks right in front of him so he knew they weren't poisoned. In my dream, there were 3 branches, and on those branches were blossoms. I was holding Pharaoh's cup, and when the blossoms turned into grapes, I squeezed the grapes into my cup. It's so weird.
Here's what your dream means. The 3 branches are 3 days. In just 3 days, Pharaoh will release you from this prison.
Yes!
He will put you back to your old work as a cupbearer. But remember something.
Yes, of course.
When life is going well for you, remember me. Tell Pharaoh about how I was kidnapped from the land of the Hebrews and how I have done nothing to deserve being put in this prison.
Anything? Yes, of course.
Wow, his dream sounds so good. Could you tell me about mine?
Of course.
So I was the king's superintendent of the bakery, which means I oversaw all his delicious pastries. Anyways, my dream was that I had 3 wicker baskets on my head. On the top basket, there was these wonderful pastries, and they smelled so good. But then these birds just swooped down and would take pastries out of the basket. What would it mean?
Here's what your dream means. The 3 baskets are also 3 days. In just 3 days, you will be released from this prison.
Awesome.
But then Pharaoh will have your head cut off, and he will feed your body to the birds.
But what?
I'm sorry, my friend. I didn't tell you what God revealed to me.
3 days later was Pharaoh's birthday, and he hosted a feast for all of his noblemen and servants. He had the butler and baker brought out from the prison and stood before them all. The chief butler was so relieved by his one position restored and was so horrified by the fate of the butler that he forgot all about Joseph in the prison. He became busy with his duties again and never gave Joseph another thought. 2 long years went by. All that time, Joseph heard nothing from Pharaoh's butler. He kept busy taking care of the other prisoners, passing out food, and scrubbing the cells.
Thank you, God. My whole life, you have kept me safe. When my brothers threw me in the pit, you're the one that rose me up and kept me safe. When I was sold into slavery, you're the one that helped me gain power in Potipher's house. And when I was put in this prison, you're the one that kept me safe this whole time. Even though I'm here as a prisoner, I know that you have a reason for all of this, and I will continue to do all I can to serve you.
Wow, what do you think is going to happen to Joseph next? Anybody got an idea? Do you think his life can get any worse?